In this lesson, we're going to review the midpoint and distance formula. This should be a quick review for you from geometry. What happens is we're going to do some stuff with circles in the next few days. And if we don't review these first, it tends to be something that kids find very hard. So we're going to spend today just kind of quickly reviewing that. So here you see the midpoint formula, where you add the x's and divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2 to find the midpoint of 2 points. And then the distance formula is listed below, where you subtract the x's, square them, subtract the y's, square them, and then add them together and take the square root. So, to kind of make this a little bit harder maybe, we're going to put it in some word problems. This one says a landscape design includes 2 square flower beds and a sprinkler halfway between them. Find the coordinates of the sprinkler if centers of the flower beds are at 4, 5, and 14, 16. It's just a quick sketch. If I have 2 flower beds, let's say they're right here, I want to put the sprinkler here. What formula would I use? Would I use midpoint or distance? Hopefully you say midpoint. So then we're going to actually apply that. To find x, I would take 4 plus 14, which are my x values, and then divide by 2. And to find y, I would take 5 plus 16 and divide by 2. So my midpoint would be 18 divided by 2, which is 9, and 21 divided by 2, which is 10 and a half. So that's where I would put the sprinkler. Number 2, what is the distance between these 2 points? So here's our distance formula. We're going to go ahead and apply that. So just to remind you of how you do that, this would be considered x1, y1, x2, y2. So I plug them into the formula. The distance equals the square root of x2 minus x1, so 4 minus a negative 3 squared, plus y2 minus y1, so negative 4 minus 6 squared. So I simplify this using my order of operations. Boom, boom, boom this. So I have 7 squared, which is 49. And then here I'm going to have a negative 10 squared, which is 100. So my distance is the square root of 149. You can choose to leave it like this, or if you want to, you can find the decimal value, and that can be your answer also. If it was a word problem, we're going to find the decimal value because we want to have that in units that people can understand. If it's just a simple problem like this one, you would keep it as the square root of 149. If I could break that down, I would. So like if it was the square root of 8, I'd write 2 root 2. But since it doesn't break down, I'm going to leave it like that. And then you probably should label it units since we're doing distance, right? Number 3, these are the kind that you're going to see on Excel math, and I call these logic questions. So you're going to have to kind of reason through and see. They're not hard, but you really do have to kind of reason through them and see what would work. So the first thing you'd need to know for this problem is your directions. So if you don't happen to know that, north, south, the one people get confused is east and west. So it spells the word we, right? So you know your directions. Think of them as a number line. If I'm going north, we consider those positive values. If I'm going south, we consider those negative values. West is just like a number line, so that would be negative, and east would be positive. So you'll remember that when you're plugging them in. For this one then, it says on a straight road, George is 3 kilometers east of the water tower, and Don is 6 kilometers west of the same water tower. So before they even ask a question, I'm just going to draw a picture. So here's my little water tower. We'll put a big H for Hutch on there. And George is 3 kilometers east, so he is right here. This is George, and it's 3 kilometers between him and the water tower. Don is 6 kilometers west, so I'll try to double my line and say that this is Don, and he is 6 kilometers. Then it says, relative to the water tower, where is the midpoint of the positions of George and Don? So, first we're going to find the midpoint. Between George and Don is 9 kilometers. Everyone agrees? 6 plus 3. And then when I divide 9 by 2, I would get 4.5. So where on my graph is 4.5? Well, it would be maybe right about here. So from here to here is 4.5, and from here to here is 4.5, because the total distance is 9. I knew I had to be to the left of my water tower because to the water tower from George is only 3, so I had to go past. So now it's saying relative to the water tower. So this would be a multiple choice one for Excel math. You would say that between the water tower and 4.5, right here, since this is happening at 3, there is 1.5 kilometers. Because remember, this is 3 away. So 1.5 from here to here. So I'm going to say that the water, relative to the water tower, the midpoint is 1.5 kilometers west because it's on the left side of the water tower. So that's why I call it a logic problem, because you had to kind of reason through those. The last one we're going to do then is another common one you'll see on Excel math. Ruby is 15 miles east of Lila, Mary is 16 miles west of Lucy, and Ruby is 12 miles east of Mary. How many miles is Lila from Lucy? So, a lot of information in one little sentence, right? We're going to go ahead and make a number line for this and just list out the information they give us. So Ruby is 15 miles east of Lila. So I'm just going to put Ruby right here. And Ruby's east, so that means Lila would be west, right? So here's Lila. And between them is 15 miles. Mary, oh, I better label Lila and Lucy a little differently because they're both L's. There's Lila. We'll go ahead and write full names here, and Ruby. Mary is 16, sorry, I'm going to cross that out too because I took care of that. Mary is 16 miles west of Lucy. Right now, I know nothing about Mary or Lucy, so I'm not going to add them yet. I'm going to pause for a second and see what else they tell me. And Ruby is 12 miles east of Mary. So Ruby, right here, is east of Mary by 12 miles, which means Mary is 12 miles west, right? Lila's 15 miles, so Mary must be like right about here. This is Mary. And between Mary and Ruby is 12 miles. So from Mary to Lila, it would be 3 miles because 3 plus 12 must make the 15. So I'm going to add that there. And now I know something about Mary, so I can do the second piece. Mary is 16 miles west of Lucy. So from Mary to Ruby is 12 miles. Lucy's another 4 miles then. So I'm going to go like this, and this would be Lucy, and there'd be 4 miles between them because I need it to add up to 16. And Mary and Ruby were 12 miles apart. So now when I look, it says, how many miles is Lila from Lucy? So all the way down, I'm looking to add Lila to Lucy. So from here to here, I'm going to add up these numbers. It's 3 plus 12 plus 4. So I'd have 19 miles. That's how far apart they are. And this would be multiple choice on Excel math. So if you did something wrong, hopefully it wouldn't be one of the choices and you'd know you made a mistake. Tomorrow you'll get some objectives on this. So if you have any questions on setting them up, always do a picture first and then ask for help if you're stuck.